This is definitely the dirtier side. You can kind of see on the side. So it's definitely something more leaky up here, which if we look on the, we can look at the cow, which is over there.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun?
All right, welcome back. We are in our hangar again, back with this shot with a nice portrait of the Sukhoi in the background. Been a while, so most of the videos have been traveling or some kind of air show, but we're back this week with the air show prep. As you would have seen from the previous video, cylinder went, catastrophic engine failure. We just did a full engine swap in about 4 days, thankfully to the good mechanic of mine. Can't thank him enough. Kind of to catch you up from there, done a bunch of engine runs, done one test flight, or two test flights, technically a test flight and a cross country back to my airport, which is about 30-ish minutes away. So today we're actually doing the first aerobatic flight on it. The reason why I didn't do an aerobatic flight where I was at, because there's no aerobatic box over that airport. So according to the FAR, basically based on the FARs, I can't do any acro there. The only place I could do acro was like 15 miles from the airport, so not really safe to do it there. I have an aerobatic box right over my airport, so easier to do the aerobatics right here, just in case there is an issue during the acro. I have a runway right below me. So yeah, I've already got the oil in the plane, I've already got the fuel in the plane. All that stuff is done, so no TAMs filed. Tower knows about it, so literally we're just gonna go up and fly. First part of the flight, very first thing I'll do, go up the altitude, do the inverted check, make sure all the fuels and oil pressure looks good inverted. And then after that, because it's my air show, I have an air show this weekend, Cherry Point Air Show, Marine Corps Station. We are going to do parts of that air show sequence. I'll do figures that I can kind of cross focus with doing the figure, but as well as like kind of being in tune with the engine to make sure it's here if I hear anything weird again, or you know, checking the engine instruments such as like the fuel pressure, oil temperature, CHTs, things like that, to kind of keep an eye on that stuff as I'm flying. So yeah, full flight for that. But anyways, it's windy out. It's about 25 knots of wind, so be a little gusty. But I'm super excited to have it flying again and to go do some acro. So without further ado, let's go do some aerobatics. All right, flight's done. Went good. Just kind of looked over the engine there real quick. Talked to the mechanic, kind of get a plan of action, what we're gonna do next. So, kind of in the flight, you'll see I did some positive G and then flipped and did some negative and did some positive. That's to kind of see if the oil pressure and fuel pressure are going to change it all. They held fine. Oil pressure held fine. CHCs are super nice. They're sitting right in the middle of the green, which is just super nice to have, especially during the aerobatic side. There's also different fuel. The fuel pressure changes based on your throttle position. So there's like two different jets in the aircraft, and basically they change the fuel flow. So if you're in a big power state, there's a different fuel flow there, as well as when you're in cruise, there's a different fuel pressure. So both those are good, right within the range that they needed to be. Oil leaks, just radial, it's going to have its oil leaks, as well as it's the first inverted flight. So there's definitely some there. The funniest side that we were just laughing about is on my old engine, the left side was definitely more messier than the right, but on this one, the left side is bone dry, the right side is a little messier. But it's most likely a lot of the mess will most likely come from the inverted tube line. So I'll show you that here in a second and kind of go back over it. But yeah, overall good flight, super happy with it, and just got a few more flights on it and be ready for the weekend. So let me show you kind of the engine. You can see the mess that's in there. We'll have it cleaned up, we'll get it a little bit drier, but that way you guys can have kind of an idea of what I'm talking about. So anyways, 1 second. All right, so this is the left side of the engine. Mags, air roll separator, battery box, oil tank, exhaust intake. So generally they leak a lot from here, as well as these little rings up here, and they'll splatter on the back of the shield. Now you see there's a tiny bit of oil. We call that a tiny bit. I know you guys might panic about that, but that's not that bad of oil for us. But the big thing is you're looking at like the splatters to see around here on the tops. Underneath there's a bit of oil, as well as we would look on the inside. Oh. On the inside of here, on the top there, you kind of see up here by the rocker covers, we would check up there to make sure the leaks aren't up there, as well as on the front right up here, look for leaks as well, kind of maybe spitting up by the seals down there. This is definitely the dirtier side. You can kind of see on the sides. It's definitely something more leaky up here, which if we look on the, we can look at the cowl, which is over there, and kind of pinpoint some in some places, but this is dry up here, so it's definitely not coming from the oil tank area. This is dry, this is dry. The wettest part is this part right here, which is a part of the inverted system, which makes sense. Most of these aircraft are pretty leaky when they get inverted, but yeah, as for like all the exhaust clamps, they're all dry, which is a great sign to see. So yeah, good sign. Like I said, biggest thing is all the pressures and everything are good. The aircraft having a little bit of a leaky mess doesn't really worry me, especially because it's a radial. The joke is always, if there's no oil outside, that's when you should be worried. But that kind of a leak, that's just kind of pinpointing down. Again, the engine is 17, almost 17 years old. So it's got a little bit of age on it, but yeah, so we're just putting it out, so it's gonna have to work all the gaskets in and everything like that. But anyways, I'm happy with it. That's today done. We'll do some more flights tomorrow on the Wednesday, head down on Thursday to the Cherry Point. I have a super long cross country. I think it's about 4.5, maybe, gosh, probably not even that, maybe 3 minutes of flight time. I literally can see the airport every time I pull vertical. But yeah, anyways, that's it for today. As always, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.